A Fool's Words and the Wisdom of Silence. Imagine a world where words could either build or destroy, where silence holds more power than any speech. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone's words left a lasting impression, for better or for worse? Have you noticed how some individuals speak so frequently, yet their words rarely seem to hold value? Meanwhile, others remain quiet, but radiate a wisdom so profound that their silence speaks louder than any utterance. Why does it seem that the most foolish individuals often can't stop talking, while the wisest seem to choose their words carefully, if not at all? And what does this say about the value of speech versus the power of silence? The phrase, "a fool is known by speech and a wise man by silence," holds timeless wisdom, one that can be explored from various angles: historical, sociological, psychological, and philosophical. It challenges our perceptions of communication, of how we present ourselves, and of the deeper implications of our words and our quiet moments. To understand this maxim more profoundly, we must dive into the nuances of human interaction, examining how history has shaped our relationship with speech, how society values or undermines silence, and the psychological impact that both talking and remaining silent have on our minds. Historically, speech has often been seen as the ultimate vehicle for power. Think of the great orators of ancient Greece and Rome, figures like Cicero and Pericles, who shaped the course of nations with their words. Their speeches echoed through the ages, and their eloquence brought about change. Yet, amid their words, they also knew when to remain silent. Consider Socrates, whose silence in the face of authority became his greatest form of resistance. Socrates didn't need to say much to challenge the status quo. His refusal to speak on matters not worth speaking about often revealed a wisdom greater than any speech could convey. In fact, Socrates famously said, "All I know is that I know nothing," acknowledging that wisdom often resides in recognizing one's own limitations, which can only be realized through silence. The phrase, "a fool is known by speech and a wise man by silence," echoes through the ages, not just as a reflection of ancient wisdom, but as a guide to navigating the complexities of human interaction. Sociologically, silence and speech play different roles depending on the culture and context. In some societies, silence is seen as a form of respect, while in others, speaking up is seen as a sign of strength. Think about the ways in which leaders and elders in different cultures have used silence to communicate authority and wisdom. In many indigenous cultures, silence is revered as a sign of respect and contemplation, a way of reflecting deeply before offering insight. In contrast, Western societies often value verbosity and self-expression. A well-spoken individual in a boardroom or on a political stage is seen as someone in control, while a quiet person may be viewed as passive or even weak. This dynamic raises important questions about the role of speech and silence in shaping one's social identity and how we perceive intelligence and wisdom in a fast-paced world that prizes constant communication. Psychologically, the contrast between speech and silence reveals much about the human condition. When people speak, they often do so to assert control, to be heard, or to feel validated. However, words can also be a way to mask insecurity or to fill a void. The psychologist Carl Jung believed that silence and introspection were essential for personal growth. When we choose to remain silent, we give ourselves the space to reflect, to understand our true thoughts and feelings. This kind of silence, unlike the silence of avoidance or fear, allows for introspection that leads to genuine wisdom. On the other hand, speaking without thinking can reveal impulsiveness, insecurity, or a lack of understanding. In fact, those who speak too much may often reveal more about their internal struggles than those who speak less. Silence allows the mind to process information and emotions, while speech often projects only a surface-level understanding of a person's thoughts. The foolish person, driven by the need to fill the silence, may reveal their ignorance, while the wise person knows when to hold their tongue, letting silence speak volumes. Philosophically, silence holds a unique position. Throughout history, great philosophers have recognized the power of silence. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, emphasized the importance of silence in his teachings. He believed that true wisdom lay not in the accumulation of words, but in the ability to listen to the world around us, to understand the ebb and flow of life without the need to constantly speak. Silence is a source of great strength, Laozi wrote, highlighting how silence allows for a deeper connection with reality, free from the distractions of incessant chatter. The idea that a wise man is known by his silence speaks to this ancient truth. True wisdom does not need to be proclaimed. It is understood in the space between words, in the quiet moments where reflection and understanding occur. It suggests that sometimes the most profound statements are made not through speech, but through stillness. This idea of the wise man's silence challenges the modern world, where communication is often equated with success, power, and influence. In today's digital age, the constant flow of information can overwhelm us, making it difficult to appreciate the value of silence. Yet, in an era where noise dominates, silence becomes even more precious. It is in the quiet moments that we truly listen to ourselves and to others. In a world that constantly urges us to speak up and share our opinions, to tweet our thoughts and broadcast our voices, silence offers a counterbalance, a reminder that wisdom often resides in restraint and contemplation, not in the rush to fill the air with sound. As we reflect on the notion that a fool is known by speech and a wise man by silence, we are forced to ask ourselves, how often do we speak without thinking, only to later regret our words? How often do we let others talk and reveal their ignorance, while we choose to remain silent and allow our wisdom to shine through? And in a world that prizes constant communication, how can we learn to appreciate the power of silence, both in our own lives and in the lives of those around us? What do you think? Do you believe that speaking less can actually convey more? Or do you think that in today's world, speaking up is more important than ever? How do you balance speech and silence in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're not subscribing to the Usafi channel, you're probably never going to see us again. But if you are, then congratulations, you're growing every day.